So you might know me, I'm Craig Lambie, as just introduced. I'm a white, tall, male, fairly educated Australian with a British background. I'm fairly privileged. I can take risks. I have started a business. But Australia has a safety net. And when it didn't turn out, I was okay. Now, I've read countless books. I've been to 40 countries and travelled all around the world and met many, many people. But nothing affected me like the conversation I had in an ordinary living room. And I want to share that with you tonight. I'm going to introduce a character that was at the living room. It's Sammy. Now, Sammy is a composite of all my experiences and people I've met and read. So this is not exact experience, but it brings that experience to life that I had in that living room conversation. Sammy is from Syria. Sammy grew up on a farm with his family. He's quite privileged in Syria. He's a beekeeper. He's fallen in love with a neighbour. He's got all of his life ahead of him, and it looks wonderful. But then, well, climate change happened, and there's a drought. Many years of drought. The farm starts to stop producing the output that was his family's lifeblood. All of the neighbouring farms had the same problem. The neighbour that he'd fallen in love with was sent away. Her family had relatives, distant relatives somewhere, and they sent her there for safety while they could. Now Sammy's whole neighbourhood started to go down. There was trouble in the cities. The people in the cities were starting to cause problems all around. It hadn't reached Sammy's small town yet, but eventually it did. And Sammy's parents got caught up in an altercation with some people that were trying to get some food from a neighbour's farm and got killed. I mean, it's terrible when your parents were there one day and then gone the next. So Sammy's looking around. He doesn't have the ability to feed himself. He can't repair the equipment on the farm because there's no income for several years. So Sammy decides, I have to go somewhere else. I have to try and survive. So Sammy packs up a few valuable things that he has, maybe something he can sell later, puts it on his back and heads to the nearest city, hoping to find a living. But he got to the city and it was worse. There was nothing like civility in this city. He spent several weeks, maybe even months, trying to survive. Sleeping on the streets, not knowing where his next meal was. Nothing. So Sammy thought, oh, I've got a cousin in Australia. I'll try and get there. So Sammy starts the trek, the huge trek to another country. He's got no family. He's got no love. No love. He's got no farm. And no bees even. His whole identity. He treks across multiple borders that didn't want him, trying to find his way to somewhere that will have him, somewhere where he has some connection. And then he finds a ship. He gets part of the way, maybe an oil tanker, to Singapore, and eventually finds himself on a small, crowded boat with hundreds of others on its way to Australia, where he claims refuge. I met Sammy in the living room, where I went to just meet some locals and talk about whether the sports oval would be overused or how we could use it differently. Imagine you go and sit in the living room, and across from you, you get to meet Sammy. How hard would it be to dehumanize somebody once you've understood their story, once you've heard their story and empathized with them? We don't always agree on everything. And changing things doesn't always have to happen in Parliament House. It can happen in a living room, in an ordinary living room. Making that